So we want to import the dataset bmd_drug.csv, which is in a comma separate format. And we're going to import it to Stata using the menus. So we're going to File, we'll do Import, and then you can see here text data, delimited with extension CSV. This is what we want. And file to import, we have to select the file that we want to import. Here it is, bmd_drug.csv. We'll open it, and you'll see a preview in this box, and you can see that Stata correctly read the variable names, and it seems to be importing things correctly. So I'm going to go ahead, say OK, and you have here the command that imported the dataset. It's very similar to what I had in the do file. And if you look at the data editor window, you'll see that the variables have been imported. Now, you may notice that some of the variables were imported as strings, string variables, so just as characters. And it might be useful to transform these variables into numeric coded variables. Okay, that's what we're going to do next. So variables like sex, CSC type, fracture, and I believe there's another one, medication, here at the bottom. At the moment, they are as strings, as you can see here. And we want to change these to numeric with codes using the same labels as we have here. So I'm going to start with the variable, let's say, SC type. So we'll go to the data menu, create or change data, are the variable transformation commands. We're going to choose encode value labels from string variables. So this is going to get a string variable, going to go through the different categories that we'll be finding in the variable and create a numeric variable with those codes. So the source string variable is going to be CS type, and the new numerical variable I'm going to use the name CS type _R. Okay, you can select whatever name you want to the new variable, but this _R tells me this is just a recoded version of this CS type. And we're going to leave the option in the value label, name value label, the same as new variable name. Okay, we're going to see another option later, but for now I'm going to do OK. So there's a new variable that was created at the end of the dataset, which will have now a numeric version of the CS type. You see, despite of showing you the labels here, you can see the value of the variable is actually 1 for the label spine. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for sex. I'm going to use exactly the same command. So other variable transformation commands, encode value labels from string variables. So I'll select here sex, I'll call it sex _R, and if I do OK, this will create the new variable sex _R with categories male and female coded as 1 and 2, which are the default. Okay, but suppose that I want to code it as 0 and 1. So before doing this, what I'll do is to go to the data command again, to the data utilities, select label utilities, and I'm going to create a label that then I'm going to apply to this variable. So manage value labels, and I'm going to create a label that is called, let's say, sex _R lab, and this label is going to be 0 males add, and the value 1 is going to be for females add, and okay, so now I have this label created and it's stored. You can see that there's another one, CS type, that was created automatically when I did the encode for that variable. But now, coming to the encode menu, I select specify value label name, and I'm going to put the value name sex_r lab. Okay, and I'll do OK. And you see here the code encode sex, generate a new variable, and apply the label that I've created. So if we look at the end of the data set, we should have a new variable. Here it is, sex, where male is coded as 0, as you can see here, and female is coded as 1, as you can see here. Okay. And finally, we'll just for the sake of completing the exercise, we're going to do the same thing for fracture and variable medication, which are both strings. So again, data, create or change data, other variables transforming command, encode labels, and now the variable is going to be fracture. I'm going to call it fracture_r, and I'm going to leave Stata to create the labels automatically. So okay, again, at the end, fracture_r was created, and finally create and change data, code value labels, and your last one, medication, that I'm going to call medication _r, and okay. And you see anticonvulsant category was coded as 1, no medication as 3, and glucocorticoids as 2. Okay, this is another situation where it could have been it could have made sense to start the coding by no medication category. So no medication 1, anticonvulsant 2, and glucocorticoids as category 3. And for this, we would have to have created a label before creating the variable. Okay, so now we have the dataset ready for analysis.